let us begin our newspaper analysis, the analysis of the Hindu newspaper dated December 21. I am very sure that all of you have already gone through the newspapers, you would have already made your diary of events for the day, and you are raring to go regarding the program, and I am sure that you will get correct answers for all the objective multiple choice questions that I shall provide in between the program. Good afternoon all. Yes, a good number are being joined for the program. Make it a point that you spend minimum 2 hours in reading the newspapers. That is quite essential for the success of any all India level competitive examinations. I used to tell you that reading of the newspaper is not to pick questions or to get marks for the general awareness paper alone, but it is for your overall improvement and development. You will get a better connect of the world if you read the newspapers, as newspapers do not have any bias towards any particular topic. We know that if you are a student of physics, the textbooks that you read have a bias towards physics, it contains only matters of physics. But when you read the newspapers, it does not have any such bias, it covers economics, politics, international events, sports, it covers physics and chemistry and everything. So it does not have any bias and it will give you a wider picture of the world. So reading of the newspaper is very essential for the success of any competitive examination. You may read the Hindu because that is the only newspaper in this part of the world which has got a kind of a national character. So I strongly recommend the Hindu, and if possible you can read a financial newspaper to either the Economic Times or Business Line or whatever it be. So read the newspapers, jot down your notes, especially since you are preparing for a bank recruitment examination. If you can read an additional financial newspaper, that will be good. Of course, we are providing detailed notes through our application that if you go through you will get good marks for the examination, but getting the examination is only one part of the things. Getting connected with the world and knowing everything about what is discussed in the world is equally important. So let us begin by analyzing the newspaper, the Hindu, dated December 22. Good afternoon everybody, good to see you all again. We shall start. I request all of you to subscribe to our social media channels, give a like to our Facebook channel, and please post your positive comments against this program in the YouTube. That will be a great encouragement to all of us. Our team looks forward to that. So please help us to reach out to more and more people. So we shall begin. Yes, the Hindu dated December 22, and this has been the major news. House panel moots law to keep a check on private hospitals. The Parliamentary Committee on Home Affairs has suggested to the government the requirement, the changes that are needed to face situations of the pandemic's kind. Markets plunge on news of mutant virus. Okay, so the first question comes to you. The Parliamentary Committee has submitted its report calling for a holistic public health act given the pandemic impact. Which all are the panel's suggestions? Of course, it is a lengthy question, so I am giving you more than the stipulated 15 seconds. Choice A, there should be a regulatory oversight on all hospitals working in the country to prevent refusal to accept insurance claims. B, there should be a universal state sponsored insurance scheme to cover all citizens of the country in handling pandemic like situations. 3. Make COVID-19 treatment cashless for all people who have insurance coverage. D. Form a separate wing in the National Disaster Management Authority that will specialize in handling pandemic like COVID. E. Ensure effective implementation at the ground level and address problems being faced by farmers, non-corporate and non-farm small micro enterprises in getting loans. F. Ensure state delivery dry rations allowances to children deprived of midday meals during the pandemic. So, what is the answer? Is it all the above, all except F, all except E, all except B, or all except C? What is your answer? That is the question. Okay, you people are divided amongst yourselves. Option number 4, 5 and 3 have already come. Do not be tensed, just give your answers. I know that when questions of this kind comes, there may be chances that you may get a wrong answer. It does not matter, we are just learning, it is a learning program, it is not a testing program. Okay, let all the people answer. So, I shall now give you my answer. The correct answer is, as most of you said, the fourth option, all except B. There should be a universal state sponsored insurance scheme to cover all citizens of the country in handling pandemic like situations. Such a recommendation has not been made by the Parliamentary Committee on Home Affairs. This committee was headed by Anand Sharma of the Congress Party. So, this recommendation has not been there. All except B is the correct answer. So, our answer is the fourth one. Okay. So, let me proceed. This is the news regarding that. A holistic public health act is needed. The committee says it is headed by Anand Sharma, the Congress leader. It is the Parliamentary Committee, Standing Committee on Home Affairs that recommended the matter to the government. Have a regulatory oversight on all hospitals in the country to prevent refusal to accept insurance claims. This was one of the complaints that the country saw from different parts of the country, that the hospitals used to refuse to accept the insurance claims by patients. Make COVID-19 treatment cashless for all people who have an insurance coverage. Form a separate wing in the National Disaster Management Authority that will specialize in handling pandemics like COVID-19. Ensure effective implementation at the ground level and address problems being faced by farmers, non-corporate and non-farm small micro enterprises in getting loans. Ensure that states deliver dry rations and allowances to children deprived of midday meals due to the pandemic. These were the recommendations made by the panel. So, now in a parliamentary democracy, parliamentary panels carry weight. They will learn the subject and they will make their recommendations to the government, and finally it is in the court of the government to decide which are to be accepted and which are to be rejected. This is how laws are made, this is how laws are influenced. So, please read, take note, this is a very important report, and it may carry weight in future legislations. So, I am moving on to my next topic, markets plunge on news of mutant virus. There are reports that in England the mutations take a different turn, the new mutations of the pandemic, the virus, the coronavirus would spread fast, but reports equally say that the new virus can be contained by the vaccines developed by various companies. The most of the candidate vaccines that are developed will be able to contain the latest mutant virus. So, there is nothing to be panicked, but now the market sentiments is such that on anything or everything there will be reaction or overreaction. Listen, it also shows this is not a directly related financial issue, but this is how markets behave. Markets behave on expectations, markets behave on sentiments, markets behave on disappointments. The new mutation is a disappointment to the market. Immediately the markets will think that, my goodness, what if you see, just now the economy is getting opened up across the world and things are reaching some kind of a normalcy. The new vaccine which is going to be introduced in many parts of the world are providing hopes. All of a sudden a new mutation, the report of a new mutation and the new mutant virus will be more threatening. Immediately the market sentiments started working out and across the world the markets plunged. This is why I used to say that in India for sure that capital markets or the movements of the capital market do not reflect the actual scenario in the world, sorry, in India, in the country, and the market movements are not a true barometer of the real genuine economic performance of the country. So, please read, this is how you get you can get related to the economics, finance, capital market, etc. Read everything and try to understand how the markets behave. Second question, please read. Which among the following seems to be the immediate reason for the decision taken by KP Sharma Oli, the Prime Minister of Nepal, to dissolute the cabinet and call for fresh elections in the country? 1. His decision to include 3 places in the Uttarakhand state of India, the official in the official map of Nepal, was widely criticized in Nepal. Is that the reason? 2. The decision taken by his government to allow Chinese investment in the country. Is that the reason? 3. The recent ordinance issued by the government to amend Constitutional Council Act, which was widely criticized by his own party. Is that the reason? 4. His party lost majority in the parliament. What is the answer? Let us get excellent, excellent. Okay, Sangeeta, you have to correct your choice. Yes, most of you got the correct answer. Recent ordinance issued by the government to amend the Constitutional Council Act, which was widely criticized by his own party. Listen, yesterday we discussed this matter in detail, what was happening in Nepal. The Nepal Communist Party, the Communist Party of Nepal, which is ruling Nepal now, has got a wild majority. It has got a 2/3 majority in the parliament. So there is no reason why the parliament should be dissoluted, and there is no reason why Sharma Oli should resign his post. So he has got the mandate for 5 years, and as per the latest Nepali constitution, the house can be dissoluted only if there is a hung parliament, meaning a parliament which does not have a majority. That is not the case, that is not the instant case, or if no one is willing to form a government. If there is a hung parliament, or if no one is willing to form a government, then only the parliament's tenure can be, the parliament can be dissoluted, or a fresh election can be called for. But in the instant case, what has happened is that despite having a clear-cut majority, Sharma Oli resigned, of course that is up to him, but he does not have the authority to dissolute the parliament. That is unconstitutional as per the latest constitution of Nepal. So it is definitely going to be challenged in the Supreme Court of Nepal. We have to wait and see what turbulence is awaited in our neighboring country in the east. Yes, this is the question. Nepal in turmoil. Nepal Prime Minister Sharma Oli recommended to dissolve the parliament, which has been duly approved by the President Bindya Devi Bhandari. He has pushed the young democracy into an unprecedented constitutional crisis and political turmoil. This constitutional crisis is what I have just explained. What is that? He can resign, anybody can resign, no issue. 2, he cannot dissolute the parliament. As per the constitution, the parliament can be dissoluted only if there is a hung parliament, which is not the case. It is not a hung parliament. Communist Party of Nepal has got 2/3 majority. 2, if no one is willing to form a government, the second part is not properly probed. Without probing the option of somebody else forming the government, he has recommended to the government to dissolute the parliament, which has got 2 more years to go. So that is quite unprecedented, and it is harming the young democracy. This particular decision of the Prime Minister will be challenged in the Supreme Court, and it is going to be a disturbing time in Nepal. A disturbance, a political disturbance in the neighboring country cannot be a good news to us, because ours is also a democracy. So democracies have to be strengthened and not to be weakened. Any news weakening the democracy or prevailing in a neighboring country can be seen only with genuine concerns in this part in our country. Okay, so that is reasonably explained. The Hindu editorial criticizes the decision taken by KP Sharma Oli, the Prime Minister of Nepal. Let me proceed to the next. Key steps to get this spectrum auction right. Listen, we know about the decision of the government to sell the radio bandwidth spectrum, the radio frequency spectrum. This was discussed in the last couple of days. Immediately people who would matter have come out with their own opinion regarding the issue. Please read, we will get excellent idea about this program, this subject. It says that government has kept the reserve price very high. I think if my memory is anything to go by, it was 3.92 lakh crore for a bandwidth spectrum that would offer around 2221 megahertz. So as per the article, the high spectrum value which is kept as reserves is going to make the auction a failure, because which are the kinds of people who would go for the auction? One, of course, is the telecom companies. 2, over the top service providers like Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc., and the voice over internet telephony. These are the 3 kinds of people who would go for the auction. The first, telecom people, the telecom service providers will find it too hot to get into the auction, because the reserve price is very high, will be very high for them. So that won't be, they won't be benefited. In the case of OTT and voice over internet, these 2 kinds of people who would participate in the auction, they are generally beyond the purview of any regulatory authorities. We know that telecom comes under the regulatory authorities of TRAI, but OTT and voice over internet protocol, these 2 kinds of people are generally not under the purview of any kind of regulatory mechanism. So, they may find it affordable, but definitely not the telecom companies. So, at the end of the day, what is going to happen? The article writers are suspecting that there may not be too many takers for the auction, and auction may become a failure. They suggest the previous experience when the auction price was kept at 90 billion US dollar in 2016. In the previous auction in 2016, the auction offer price was 90 billion, which was unaffordable to most of the companies. So, finally what happened was that most of the spectrum went unsold, because the real price was almost 1/10 of the offer price of $90 billion. This was the case in 2016. I shall explain once again. In 2016, when the government went for the auction, the offer price was 90 billion, which according to the article writers was almost 10 times the real value, or the real value must have been only 9 to 10 billion, but the offer price was kept very high. So, at the end of the day, what happened was that most of the spectrum went unsold. This story of failure may get repeated. That is what the authors say. So, please keep a watch on what is going to happen. Read, it is a good article, it is anybody's cake. If you read, you will easily understand. I am moving on to the next question. The Chennai Mathematical Institute CMI has decided to establish the Dr. F.C. Kuli Center for Excellence for Advanced Research in Mathematical and Computing Sciences. Dr. F.C. Kuli is known as the father of Indian software industry. He was the founder and CEO of course, this question I discussed earlier, I remember. I know that those who attended that day session will easily answer. So, what is this going to be a sure shot for your upcoming examination? A big personality, okay. Let the responses come. Yes, the answer is Tata Consultancy Services. Dr. Fakir Chand Kohli. Dr. Fakir Chand Kohli is called the father of Indian software industry. He was the founder CEO of the Tata Consultancy Services. We know that TCS is the biggest software company in India, a company of great repute, internationally reputed company that sells and provides software services to companies in many parts of the world. So, please take a brief note of Dr. F.C. Kuli. He is going to, this particular question is going to be, can be seen a sure shot for your upcoming exams. CMI to set up Dr. F.C. Kuli Center for Excellence. The Chennai Mathematical Institute will establish Dr. F.C. Kuli Center for Excellence for Advanced Research in Mathematical and Computing Sciences in honor of the visionary who created and shaped the IT industry in India and made it synonymous with excellence globally. So, great personality, and he is remembered in the most felicitous ways. So, please take note of this, and please take note of Dr. Fakir Chand Kohli. Punjab grain market shut indefinitely over IT rates. This is one of the major complaints by various sections of the society over the present day government. They use government agencies to persecute targeted audiences. In the instant case, it is the Punjab uh, grain agents. The government suspects that, the article says that the government suspects that it is the Punjab agents that financed the Punjab farmers strike in Delhi. Immediately the government sleuths, the IT sleuths have started raiding many of their offices, and they say that they will not succumb to the pressure put by the government. Government can do whatever it can, but they will continue to strike, and they say that it is not going to be the farmers, it is going to be the workers, and even agents will start striking. Of course, they are also an affected party. If the mandates become a thing of the past, agents will also lose their jobs. So, they are also concerned parties, but presently mandi is working perfectly well to farmers. That is the general opinion that are being given out by various media. So, please read and keep a tab on all the news items. Fourth question, pick out among the following the incorrect information regarding Motilal Vora, who passed away recently. He was a congressman, he was the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh for 2 times, he was a Union Minister for Health, he was a former Governor of UP, he was a Rajya Sabha MP for 16 years. Which is the incorrect? Keep a note of that, which is incorrect. You are asked to find out which is incorrect. Let the answers come. I am awaiting your answers. I have started getting the answer. Okay. Okay, let more responses come quickly. I am awaiting. Oh, now I understand the trend. The trend is that if somebody gives an answer, then everybody else will follow. The answer is none is incorrect. I am sorry to say that I understood how your mind works. You follow the footsteps of the one who gives the response first, follow in the footsteps of those who give the first person who gave the response. It is not 3, it is none is incorrect, the first option. He was a congressman, he was a Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh for 2 times, he was a Union Health Minister under the Rajiv Gandhi cabinet, in the Rajiv Gandhi cabinet, he was a former Governor of UP, he was Rajya Sabha MP for 16 years. All are correct. So, none is incorrect is the answer. Okay. I am proceeding. This is the news about Motilal Vora, a committed congressperson. He served many positions in the government, at the center and in the state. He was 2 times Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. He was born in Chhattisgarh. He was a journalist to begin with. It was at the age of 40 or so that he moved on to politics. US Congress agrees 900 billion stimulus package. It is to stimulate the economy that the government has announced a 900 billion package. Finally, the US Congress has permitted the government of United States of America to spend 900 billion US dollars to stimulate the economy. So, how will the money come to people? Listen, there will be, this package includes aid for vaccine distribution and logistics, extra jobless benefit for $300 per week to all those who are jobless, and 600 stimulus checks, half the amount provided in checks distributed in March under the CARES Act. This is what exactly many economists in this country also say, that people at the bottom of the pyramid do not have money. That is the issue. And if we want to revive the economy, if you want to stimulate the economy, if you want to create more demand in the economy, people in the bottom of the pyramid must be given money. That is going to be the exact stimulus package that the country requires. What happens to India? The government says that the total value of the stimulus package that the government of India announced was to the tune of 30 lakh crore. But in this 30 lakh crore, most of the money was on the supply side efforts, meaning to support the companies or producers. But the problem is that there is no demand. Economy is moving through a very bad recessive trend. In the first quarter, the economy contracted by 23.9%, and the second quarter of the financial year, the economy contracted by 7.5%. Government hopes heavily on the positive GST collections in the month of September, October and even November. In October and November, it crossed to 1 lakh crore, the GST collections. So government pins its hope on that. But economists on the other side say that that could be because of the pent up demand that, or the accumulated demand in the economy thanks to the closing down or shutting down of the economy because of the COVID. So anyway, this is the major demand. People must be given money by the government. So once the money comes to people, they will start spending it, and economic recovery, the demand creation will take place. But this is what exactly the American government is doing, and many other governments. In UK it was done, but in India the efforts by the government was on the supply side, not on the demand side. Hopefully once the vaccine comes, once things stabilize, Government of India may also think about providing stimulus package to create more demand, meaning giving money directly to the hands of the people. And government has said that at the appropriate time it may even think about it. So let us hope that such a stimulus package comes to the country also. GDP growth likely to turn positive in Q3, NCAER. The economic think tank NCAER says that the economy may turn to positives in the next quarter. I told you just now that in the first quarter Q1 the economy contracted by 23.9%, and Q2 the second quarter it contracted by 7.5%, but NCAER says that in Q3 it will go to positive zones. So let us hope so. Let us hope that the economy will get revived by the positive trends. So that is what the report says. Please read. There is nothing to take down as such. It is not to take down things for the general awareness that we are reading the newspapers. It is to understand. At some point of time, a regular reader of newspaper will understand that he gets things as a story. So learn everything as a story unfolding. The fifth question: the Indian Open Shuttle Badminton Tournament will be held at Bangalore, New Delhi, Bombay, Nagpur or Hyderabad. What is your response? It is the topmost shuttle badminton tournament in India. Where will it be held? In Bangalore, in New Delhi, in Mumbai, in Nagpur or Hyderabad? This will be the last decider tournament that will decide who will appear for the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. Okay, first response has come. Okay, more responses have come. The responses must be based on the information that you have, not based on the response made by the first person or the one who follows. Let responses come quickly. Hello, only 4 people have responded. I need more. Quick. Okay, the answer is the second option, New Delhi. New Delhi is the correct answer. New Delhi. Very true. Your second option is correct. Thank you very much for watching the program. I am sure that I would prefer to believe that you enjoyed the program. I prefer to believe that you would continue to watch the program with genuine enthusiasm. I have got some messages saying that the program benefits them and it helps the primers, the people who have just begun to read the newspapers are benefited by the program. I am very happy to hear that. Encourage us by giving your positive comments against the program in the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. We will have another session of live program at 3 o'clock. Till then, I am signing off. Goodbye.